Today we're going to be taking a look at an absolute beast of an inflatable tent, the Sönmez London 360 Discover. Now, you may be asking, why is this a beast? Well, it's simple. This tent is an absolute engineering marvel. So over the last handful of years, I've been testing out, actually technically, a couple of these Sonmez tents. The 360, which is the smaller of the two that I have, and the 480, which will be for another video. But the point where I'm leading with this is Sonmez combines durability, comfort, and ease of setup in each one of these incredible shelters. So I've taken this tent out in big group camping trips, small family trips, even solo adventures. In every single case, this tent has a lot to offer. From the beautiful summers to the frigid cold winters. And okay, I know somebody's going down in the comments this very moment and Alex, hey, you're in California. What do you know about frigid winters? Well, we get below zero in some areas, so I'm going to categorize that as cold.
Oh, sure. Well, that makes sense.
Either way, I'm going to show you how this tent's set up. I'm going to share with you the ins and outs of what I like most about this tent here. And I'm also, one of the questions that is echoed quite often with you folks is, with these large tents like this, how do I keep it cool in the summer? And alternatively, how do I keep it warm in the winter months? As I've mentioned to you folks many times, I absolutely dig winter camping. And granted, this tent it is classified as a hot tent, and I do bring out a wood stove with it, but I'll give you a hint. It's not just a wood stove that I use to heat this thing. As many of you know, I've been heating this with a Planner 4 kilowatt diesel heater, but I'm going to talk more about that here in a bit. Getting back on topic here, this tent really has a lot to offer, so let's dive in and take a closer look. Okay, let's get down to the very basics first before we dive into the bulk of this review here. If you're not familiar with this company or this tent, Sonmez Discover 360, you know what? Somebody needs to tell me, these names are absolutely, it's a mouthful. Anyways, the Discover 360 tent, I'm going to call it 360. Okay, it is a large inflatable tent. If you haven't noticed, it kind of resembles a bouncy house. My kid, he always calls it a bouncy house. But anyways, this has both comfort and versatility in mind, and at 124 inches long, 124 inches wide, and the best part about this, that's not the best part, but it's a cool feature about it, is it's 84 inches tall, so you have very high ceilings inside this thing. This tent is about the same size as an apartment in Manhattan, and I would know because I used to live in New York. But anyways, with about 108 square feet of interior space, there's enough room for 8 to 10 people according to the manufacturer. Oh, well, actually, if you want my 2 cents on it, 4 to 6 people with bunks, comfortable-ish. 2 people, man, they're living like a king inside this tent. Now, personally, I use this tent for both sleeping and working, but it's large enough to be, fantastic for a group space, perfect for having dinner, playing card games, or just relaxing after a long day out in the outdoors. I mean, the possibilities are really endless with a tent like this. Now, I know many of you, you're saying, or thinking rather, Alex, what about setting up this thing? Must be an absolute nightmare, right? And in all reality, it isn't. The inflating process only takes just a handful of minutes, but I'll talk more about that here in a moment. And despite its size, it's surprisingly really portable. Now, it does come with a carrying case measuring 31.5 by 43 inches by 31.5. The tent does weigh about 130 pounds. So let's be clear here. This, in the world, in the cosmos of tents, this is a heavy tent. This is not a tent that you're going to be backpacking out in a couple miles out in the woods. No, that's not going to happen with this thing. It's a heavy tent, but I'm able to load it up, set it up, and pack it in, get it packed down myself. So don't let the weight scare you. It is manageable. And actually, speaking of the weight, I think it's a great opportunity to segue into talking about what that weight is getting you, because one of the things that really sets this tent apart from the rest is its premium construction. I mean, the tent fabric is first-class waterproof polyester that ensures that you stay dry even in heavy rain. Now, the inflatable columns are made of boat PVC, which provide incredible strength and durability, and the floor it's waterproof, it's antibacterial, it's fireproof. I mean, they really did a great job on this thing, and you have this hygienic base for your camping adventures. Now, personally, I'm always putting a carpet down inside this thing. Why? Well, I like to glamp, and I'm always walking around bare feet. It's much more comfortable. Anyways, getting back on topic, it's also built to handle extreme temperatures. Now, this tent is rated for cold temperatures all the way down to minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit and heat resistance all the way up to 158 degrees Fahrenheit. You know what? If you're camping out in 158 degrees temperature, whether this tent can handle that temperature or not is going to be the least of your concerns. Anyways, on top of that, the acrylic coating enhances the durability, and you also have SPF 80 UV protection that shields you from the harsh sunlight as well. Now, if you're camping in windy conditions, you'll be happy to know that this tent can withstand winds up to 50 miles an hour. You have 9 fixing and tension points. So it's going to keep you or allow you to keep this thing planted down, reducing that lateral movement even in challenging weather. So in other words, this tent, man, it is really rock solid shelter no matter if it's rain, shine, windy, or calm. First snowfall, actually, this trip right here, this video that's playing on this screen right here, that was Big Bear. I think that was either last year or the year before. I specifically went up to Big Bear to be able to just experience the first snowfall. I knew they had a storm rolling in and figured it would be a ton of fun. And so I went up there, and what's funny about this, now I had this thing really hunkered down pretty good with all those anchor points I was telling you about a moment ago. And the winds that evening the gusts were getting up to 55, 60 miles an hour. And while the wood stove was still going, and I had the planter 4 kilowatt diesel heater that was fired up, which I planned to run through the evening, I still had concerns whether or not, because I was seeing that the gusts were getting 55, 60 miles an hour, and I knew this was rated for 50 miles an hour. I'm going to give this tent credit here. First off, most tents, when you're out in heavy winds, they're extremely noisy, making it difficult to fall asleep. This tent did extremely well. It was not only, it's funny because as I'm laying down and I'm feeling the walls and the pylons in there, shaking around and so forth, it wasn't really bad because again, you have all these anchor points that allow you to keep that thing anchored down. It was a really fantastic camping experience, and I think that's a good opportunity to segue into how I keep the tent warm in the winter months. And the summer months is easy. I use a EcoFlow Wave 2 air conditioner, and that's what I use to keep this tent and many of the others that I go heading out cool. But keeping it warm in winter is a completely different animal. As you can see right here, I have a wood stove that I'm using. I use the wood stove during the day. It's a great source of heat. I can cook on top of it, and I'm awake, so I can keep the thing stoked up as I need it. Now, if you're anything like me, I am as lazy as it gets. When I'm laying down, I don't want to get back up in the middle of the night unless I have to go outside to take a piss or anything like that. Other than that, I don't want to get up and stoke the fire.
Hell no!
And I don't like being in cold. Let me classify that. I don't like waking up in my living area being cold. I'm okay. If I'm up already, I'm good to go there. But anyways, so with that said, that's why I use for the last handful of years, I've been using the Planner 4 kilowatt diesel heater. Now that's that yellow box right there. You see me setting up right here. Kind of good timing with this video and this part right here. I didn't time it that way. Anyways, so I'm setting up the 4 kilowatt diesel heater right here. And what I will do is as I get closer to going to bed, I'm going to turn this heater on. I'm going to usually set about low to medium, and I'll usually load up the fire one last time, and that's going to burn, depending upon what I jammed in there, about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and so forth. And usually sometime in the middle of the night, that fire right here is going to wither away, and it's going to put less heat out. Well, the diesel heater is then going to pick up the slack, and it's keep that tent nice and comfortable. Now, One of the questions that gets asked quite often, and I'm going to get sidetracked just a little bit here because I think it's important. You guys ask, okay, should you get a 2 kilowatt or should you get a 4 kilowatt? Those are the two heater sizes that Planner offers these portable diesel heaters in. Now, here's what I keep saying over and over again. If you have the budget, I recommend going with the 4 kilowatt, mainly because in a large tent like this, or if you plan to, because the cool part about a heater like this, you can use it in your garage emergency heat or your boat, RV, whatever. So you have a lot of different use cases that you can use this heater for. But in a tent like this here, there's little thermal properties or benefits that you're getting from a tent like this. So the moment that wood stove goes out, it gets cold in there pretty fast. So having that horsepower, a 4 kilowatt diesel heater like this Planner one is going to give you about 13,600 BTUs worth of heating power. But again, I usually keep it on about halfway in a tent like this after I've been running the wood stove and so forth, and that's going to keep it very comfortable in the morning. Now, one thing I do want to point out, when you wake up, and so I'm again covering a few topics relating to these diesel heaters, you're going to want to run it, because somebody asked in one of the last videos that I had on the diesel heaters, if you run it on low, does it cause it to get sooted up or anything like that? Yeah, diesel heaters are designed to be running at full steam. So if you run it on medium or low, make sure in the morning you just crank it up on high. Run it for 15, 30 minutes or so, and then you're going to be good to go. It's going to blow out whatever it needs to, and it's going to allow for good, efficient operation in the future and so forth. But anyway, so you can see the port coming in, or that's the air inlet coming into the tent right there, and it works out fantastic, and it just blows a lot of heat inside. So that's how I heat my tent in the winter months. So hopefully that does it. If you have questions more on the heating side of it, let me know down in the comments down below. Now, getting back on topic here, one of my favorite features about these tents is the fact that you have this 360-degree panoramic view. I mean, you have these large, enormous windows in transparent sunroof that give you it's really an immersive outdoor experience, which makes it fun. As you can see right here, I'm working right here, and you have these big windows. Now, granted, it's dark right here, but you have these huge windows that make you part of outdoors and so forth. And at night, whether you're stargazing or enjoying the rain or watching the snowfall, the diamond clear windows allow plenty of natural light in privacy curtains, which are attached through Velcro. You can see the Velcro running along the outer perimeter of all of these here. So that gives you, it's easy to set up, take down, and do all that other fun stuff. Full control over the visibility or the privacy for that matter. Now, for winter campers like me, this tent includes the chimney exit, which actually you can see right on the side there. So there's an actual flap on the outside of that as well. So if you're not using it, you can just Velcro that thing shut and you're good to go. So that allows you kind of a safe setup for wood burning stoves inside. It is, again, I hate those cliche things to say, but it is a game changer. And then there's ventilation, which is also top notch, thanks to the specialty panels, which feature mesh system for airflow. So you can easily open and close it inside the tent, which is really a nice touch. All right, let's talk about some additional features that this tent has. So you do have a double zipper door for easy access, and also for enhancing the airflow on warm days. You have electrical hookup point and hanging lantern points, which is also goes a long way for when you're trying to help make this tent much more functional and homey as you're hanging things up. You have a built-in organizer, which is fantastic for storing small essentials like your keys, sunglasses, firearm, and keep things out of the way and where you need to grab it and so forth. And then you do have a door lock system that allows you to secure the tent with a padlock from both inside as well as outside, which again is a really nice touch. Now let's talk about the setup of this, because many of you, we spoke earlier about the setup. So setup is actually quite easy with a tent like this. The tent does inflate in about 5 to 7 minutes. Now, the first time I set this tent up, it took closer to 10 minutes, but once you get the hang of it, it really is incredibly quick. Now, for inflation, I recommend using a high quality electric air compressor that can run on either, well, they come either cordless or 12 volt battery power station or generator you can use to power these things. It really makes the process quite effortlessly. Now, however, always bring a manual pump as backup, just in case the air compressor decides to quit on you. Now, one thing I will point out with one of these tents like this, they do not come with any sort of pumps at all. So what I'll do is in the description down below, I'm going to put, because I've tested a number of electric pumps as well as manual pumps, and there are some bad decisions that you can make out there. Now the manual one, I think the one that I'm using in this video right here, which is the one that is my favorite. It's like this blue one. Again, I'll put a link down below. I think it was like 30 or 40 bucks, something like that. It's a dual pump. I forget what they call it. It's a dual action pump, whatever. So as you're pushing down, it's pushing air into the tent. When you're pulling back up, it's still pushing air into the tent. So you're able to blow up the tent a lot quicker. And then what I will generally do is I'll bring out my Goal Zero, whatever battery system that I'm bringing with me, plug in the electric pump. That's going to blow the walls up pretty close to solid. And then what I'll do is, because most of these electric pumps aren't going to give you that pressure that you need to get the tent to its final stage. So I'll take the electric pump off, and then I'll use the manual pump to get the last bit, get that PSI where I need it in the framework of these tent. Now, one of the most impressive aspects of this tent is the 5.91 inch diameter inflatable poles, which provide absolutely incredible stability. In the smart valve system ensures no air loss during inflation, and when it's time to pack up, you have a quick release deflation system that lets you collapse the tent in seconds. And again, a little tip here, what I will do is I'll take the electric pump, I will put the thing on backwards so it's now sucking air out, and I will suck the air out of the tent, and that's going to make it much easier to put this thing away and get it folded really nice and tight. So in other words, unlike some other inflatable tents in the market, this one actually is easy to set up and take down. Plus, given its incredible build quality, I have absolutely no concerns if its ability to be able to withstand its harsh weather that I encounter on some of my trips, especially for many of you, this time of the year when winter storms can get really, really wild. Okay, let's shift gears and talk about, as you can see, the interior space of these tents right here. I can't emphasize enough on just how spacious this tent is. So again, you have about 108 square feet of living space. It's about the same size as a 10 by 10 foot bedroom. That means plenty of room for sleeping, working, or stretching out with your cup of coffee, or in a moment I'm going to be making coffee in the morning here. Now, for those of you that work remotely, this tent really makes an amazing mobile office. I mean, seriously, look at this here. In a minute, when I'm making my breakfast here, but you have this big window, and in this video here, if you guys, I'll put a link to this video as well, you'll see it actually start snowing here in a bit. And so I can tell you, man, I have my table here with my power station, my laptop, I have a lamp, everything that I need to be able to get work done while I'm camping. Sure, not having to work at all during camping would be great. Actually, I don't mind it. It's just fun. It's therapeutic being out there and so forth. So I'll take actually working out there than in my studio any day of the week. All right, let's wind this video down and talk about what you guys probably are asking at this point. With all that quality and innovation and so forth, what does it cost? Well, the Sönmez London 360 Discover inflatable tent is priced at the time of shooting this video at $3,529. I know that's a big number, but it's a good example of you get what you pay for. Kind of similar, a video ago I was talking about the Planner 4 kilowatt heater, the diesel heater. This is in the diesel heater world. This is the tip of the sword. Well, when it comes to inflatable tents, this is the inflatable tent. So
What did you say?
that what you get paid for really does work with this as well. So for all the premium materials, to the ease of setup, the weather resistance, and the thoughtful design, this is one of the best tents that I've ever tested. So if you want a high-end, durable, incredible, spacious tent that can handle pretty much anything, this is absolutely worth your consideration. So friends, look, that's going to be it for this video. If you have any questions about this 360 tent right here, let me know down in the comments below. I have a 480 version of this that I'm going to be releasing a video on here in the oncoming weeks as well. So again, I've spent quite a bit of time with these tents, and I feel very comfortable. And actually, here's that snowfall here starting to come down. And I'm telling you, inside this tent right here, and actually, I'll probably just put this clip of this video on the screen right here. But as that snow's coming down, man, that was absolutely amazing. But friends, that's it for today's video. Hopefully, this gave you a better understanding of what the Sonmez Just London 360. Man, that name of this tent is just a mouthful. Anyway, Sönmez London 360 Discover inflatable tent has to offer. If you have any questions, again, drop them down below. I'll help you out on that. But with that said, I'm going to be turning off the cameras so you have an amazing week here, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.